going on, guys? Today I got for you pretty much the ultimate guide to ARK, starting up, farming, this and that. I'll be covering a lot of stuff in my video. If you want to know what I'll be covering, I'll leave links along with timestamps down in the description, so if you want to skip to something or see what I'm talking about in this video, you can. Everything is based off my own opinion, so like the best farming spots and my builds and whatnot. And in the background you can see me building a crafting area. And a lot of the things that I see is people making crafting areas, they don't really think about how they're gonna build it. They just slap stuff down and everywhere. There's no one right way to make crafting area, but the one thing you don't want to do is take up unnecessary space, along with like putting indie forges or fabricators or a bunch of stuff like that just on the ground, when you could be putting them up on pillars and be using, you know, more space than what you have. Like metal hatch frames, ceilings. You could put all your chem benches, you could put all your big stuff like fabricators, vaults and everything up on there and save a lot more space. I have this set up for official, so there's no clipping, so I can't place stuff in each other or like really close as you can in dedicated servers, along with keeping in mind that on my server I don't have infinite weight, so I'm keeping all of everything in reach, so I'm able to grab stuff and make stuff without, you know, traveling across the base to other stuff, or I'm gonna have to overdraw and then get punched to where I want to go. I could just access everything and do everything in one little spot in the crafting area, which is really nice. And based off how you make it, you want to make it somewhere where you can easily access it via, you know, teleporter or whatever you're doing to get over there. And yeah, so I recommend starting off on rag, taming yourself a PT, easy mutton, prefabbing everything for your argy. What you're gonna do is you're gonna make your argy trap, you're gonna make a magnifying glass, and you're gonna get your argy to one hit until it's about to knock out. Once you have it there, you're gonna drag a dead corpse over and have the argy harvest the corpse. Once you do that, the argy will go into a similar effect as the Daedon and will consume food for HP. When it's knocked out, it will do that, and you can insta-tame it with mutton no matter what server you're on. You do this on 1x official. After you tamed your argy, I recommend building a little trap like this near your base so you can keep an eye on your doed and anky as you tame them. Just drop them in and tame them in here. You come by, feed them narcotics and whatever they need as you're doing everything else and preparing your kibble tames. So for your kibble lines, they're all pretty basic. You're gonna tame all of them the same way with mutton except for one, and they all have a double-edged purpose other than just gathering eggs for your kibble. So you don't really need a basic kibble dino. All the dinos that really eat the basic kibble aren't really important on early game. They're just shoulder mounts or like little easy dinos like Lystros. For your simple kibble, you could use your PT eggs. You could also tame some raptors, which are really easy tame with mutton. You can tame high level raptors and use them for early game PvP. For your regular kibble, you can tame scorpions, pick them up with the argy and drop them next to your base and tame them there. They can be bullied. You could also tame velos, which you could also use for defense along with your kibble lines. For superior kibble, you're going to want to tame snow owls, and snow owls are a really fast tame with mutton for like 15 minutes for a 1x with mutton. For your exceptional kibble, you're going to want to tame rexes, and for your extraordinary kibble, you're going to want to tame a Udi. So there are three main traps that you're going to be using for taming every dino. This excludes special tames. The first one is basically just a normal dino tunnel. We used it for our argy. It's just a tunnel of gates with a big enough gap to run through after you lead the dino in and placing the gate itself. The second one is the 3 wooden signs. Place 3 signs around them while they're trapped inside and you knock them out. The third trap is a standard box gate. So you do 3 gates snapped onto each other like a box. And you lead a Rex in or a Giga in and trap them in with the 4th. For the Uranus, you're going to want to do a standard gate box, but you're going to add a foundation and stone gateways on the corners so he can't run through, because the UD does fit through stone dino gates. So what you're going to do is you're going to tame a dung beetle, and you're going to tame yourself Fiume. It doesn't matter what level. You're going to force feed your Fiume a stim berries, and pick up all the feces. If you cannot hold them, you'll whip them, and you could hold yourself a slot cap of feces. You're going to be kicked from the tribe. Someone's going to whistle the dung beetle on you, and make sure it has enable inventory pickup or something like that. And once it kills you, it'll pick up all the dung off your inventory, and your dung beetle will be full of an inventory of dung to be turned into fur. You could also use snow owl pellets, they work just as good, so yep. And yeah, not work right. Backfired on me. Basically, the dung beetle was supposed to pick up all the dung, and it goes all in his inventory. Basically takes everything in his inventory and puts it inside of him. Alright, so you're gonna tame your first bees, and a lot of the beehives are always clusterfucked like this. They'll be glitched inside of each other, and once you kill one, the queen bee will pop out glitched in the other ones, so then you gotta end up killing a few queen bees along with destroying them. So I don't recommend doing these ones. I recommend finding a beehive that's by itself that you can destroy, and then have the queen bee come out, and you just wear ghillie and bug repellent, come up behind it and shove rare flowers in its ass. If you ride any other mount other than the dire bear, you will get stunned off by the bees that come over. The dire bear, you will not get stunned off. And you can find rare flowers near Green Knob on Ragnarok, and a lot of beehives throughout the river going up to the canyon. So there's beehives, rare flowers to tame them there. All you need to do is bring your ghillie and your bug repellent. And once you get that, you'll make yourself some veggie cakes, and then tames yourself some ovises. Alright, so pretty much your basic guide for farming, and everywhere that I go to get everything is your metal. You're going to want to take yourself a crab and an anky to aberration, and pretty much metal rocks spawn everywhere. You could set up a transmitter to transfer back over to your home server, or make a smeltery over on aberration. So basically just go around with a crab and an anky and hit all the rocks. If you're over encumbered because you're playing unofficial, you can throw the anky, or you could pick it up and drop it, pick it up and drop it, and just move it along to all the rocks. And when you want to unload the metal, you just toss it all out and then whip it all up. And then when you're over encumbered, you have your teammate punch you to the forges or your transmitter, wherever, so you can transfer out with all the loot. The same thing applies to with stone for doedics and flint. What you're going to want to do for your flint is take an anky over to scorched earth or Ragnarok scorched area. The scorched rocks give you a higher content of flint, so that's where you're going to want to get your flint from. For your chitin, what I like to do is I like to take a megatherium over to island and run the bug cave. You're going to need a gas mask for this. And with the megatherium, once it hits a bug, it does 4x damage to all creatures after it gets like a little effect boost from killing a bug. And you could do the same thing with a frog to get CP, so it's pretty much a double-edged sword. You could also use the chitin to make CP along with all your saddles and whatnot. For your hide, you're going to want to tame yourself some ovises. And what you're going to want to do with the ovises is level up just their HP. And when you're ready to harvest, you're going to use a sword to slaughter them and drag them all in like a pile, and use a chainsaw on them. Higher melee damage increases the amount you get per tick with the chainsaw, so I recommend doing this on like a fresh character with only melee damage. And you could also take these two stews to increase your melee damage and have it go a lot faster. For wood, I recommend taking over a Theory, or you could do the same thing with a crab and a Therizino for wood, but I like to go over to island or center into the swamps, and you take a raft and basically just sit the Therizino on a raft and have someone get on it and hit. If you're playing on an infinite weight server, you could just drive around with the actual, Therizino, and it'll automatically hit the trees. For your silica, there's a spot that I like going on rag. You're going to need scuba for this. It's like a huge silica cave, and there's like 1 to 2 dinos inside that will attack you, manas, rays, or megalodons. It's not really much of an issue getting silica in this cave. For your fiber and berries, pretty much some of the essential things you need, I like to go to this spot on Ragnarok. It is a flower spawn up the river from Greenob, and basically every single one of these little flowers counts as its own bush. So when you come over here with like a Therizino and harvest with your claws for fiber, you're basically harvesting like 30 to 40 bushes per like little section as you're harvesting with the Theri, so it really adds up. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I know some of it was kind of shoddy. I kind of put off the video until 2 days before I have to upload, and I underestimated how much time it would actually take me to edit a bunch of the stuff in, and some of the clips got messed up, but I hope this helps you in some way and you enjoy, and yeah, peace out my guys.